There is a follow-on to the multiple options rule, and that is when there is an option C. We have established that the priority base for the three options is its alignment with the Pshuta Shel Mikra, with option A closest to the Pshuta Shel Mikra, option B less aligned, and option C still further from the Pshuta Shel Mikra. The extension to the rule is that if there is an option C that adequately addresses the shortcomings of options A and B, then even though it is least aligned with the Pshuta Shel Mikra, it is expected that Rashi will introduce that third option. Although relatively rare, it nevertheless does happen, as for example in Bereshit 41 Pasuk 43. The context of the Pasuk is that Yosef has been elevated to the position of viceroy over Egypt. He has the right to travel in the second chariot behind Pharaoh, and we are told that Vayikru lefanav Avreich, and he is proclaimed as the Avreich, to which Rashi offers not one, not two, but three interpretations. The first from the Targum, a play on words Av and Rach, a patron to the king. Rashi then turns to the Midrash Agadah with a similar play on words, Av in terms of maturity and wisdom, Rach in terms of his age. Yosef at the time being a mere 18 years of age. And then Rashi offers an option C, that the word Avreich contains the letters Bet, Reish, Chaf, Birkayim, the knees, with which one bows to the ground. Yosef is referred to as an Avreich on account of the fact that whenever he approached, people were expected to humble themselves before him by bowing to the ground. Clearly, option 3 is less aligned with the Pshuta Shel Mikra. At least in the first two options, the text remains intact. In the third option, we need to drop an aleph, and nevertheless, the option C has been included by Rashi, not merely to provide us with various alternatives, but more likely to respond to a difficulty that cannot be addressed successfully by option A or B. Which brings us to the third question, but first a short digression to the commentary of the CHIZKUNI, who suggests an alignment between the two options provided by the Bereshit Rabbah. He suggests that the Tzohar on the one hand was an instruction to make a chalon, but rejects the idea that the chalon was for light purposes, but rather it was from the chalon that Noach sent the two birds after the heavy rains had ceased. During the rest of the time the window remained closed, and light came from an Even Tovah, as per option 2. And then the CHIZKUNI goes on and offers a third option, which to him was more aligned with the Pshuta Shel Mikra. And that is that the word Tzohar is connected to the word Yitzhar. Yitzhar is shemen, oil. And with the words Tzohar Ta'aseh LaTeva, Noach is instructed to bring in a sufficient supply of oil to provide the lighting needs for those who are within the Teva. The Yitzhar option for Tzohar removes the original question that was asked, namely, how is it possible for a single chalon, or for that matter a single Even Tovah, to adequately provide light for those inside the Teva, in light of the fact that firstly, the Teva was constructed with kinim, individual compartments, and secondly, there were 3 levels to the Teva. There are clear problems with linking Tzohar to Yitzhar, but nevertheless, in light of the fact that it does remove the original question, at the very least, Rashi should have presented it as a third option. There are 2 reasons for which the Tzohar-Yitzhar connection would be deemed the least aligned with the Pshuta Shel Mikra. Firstly, the word Tzohar is a one-off word. In all probability, nowhere else will it be found in the Chumash. In contrast, the word Yitzhar is a valid Chumash word. Within the realm of Pshuta Shel Mikra, logic dictates that the Torah simply could have used the word Yitzhar rather than Tzohar. That Yitzhar Ta'aseh LaTeva. Secondly, we will have an issue with the verb Ta'aseh. Tas implies making something, so that if Tzohar were to refer to the chalon, according to Rashi's primary interpretation, it is aligned with the word ta'aseh. Noach is being asked to construct a chalon for the teva. A more appropriate word would have been tavi, or tichnas, both words implying bringing something into from the outside. Nevertheless, as per the point made earlier, and despite its lack of alignment with the Pshuta Shel Mikra, it does respond to a question that option A and option B do not address, and therefore Rashi should have, at the very least, presented it as an option C.